Hey everybody, this is Heather Box, the co-founder of the Million Person Project.
Hey, this is Julian Mosine McQueen, the other co-founder of the Million Person Project. Thanks for tuning in. So glad to be talking to you today about you and about your ability to be a change maker. It's so awesome to have the community that we have around the Million Person Project. Because of the work that we do, supporting change makers and integrating their story, we get to be exposed to incredible people like you who are doing awesome things in the world. So today we just want to talk about that and of course talk about the role that your story can play. And what we're recognizing more and more is that people around us are in their communities and in some ways in response to a lot of the wild things that are going on in the world are stepping up in big and bold ways around the projects that they're working on, whether it's a small project that they're working on the side or the organization that they're running or a part of. People are really ready to take it to new levels and to go bigger and bolder. And we have more opportunities than ever to do so through all the ways that we can communicate with each other. And so it feels like a really exciting time around here because we are being approached by people every day who say, look, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to take my story and I'm ready to go big. And that's the opportunity that's at hand. We have some examples we'll share with you, but what we get to see in our work is people who have powerful work, who have good ideas, who are engaging and enacting good ideas already and who are doing good work. We get to work with them to really unlock a whole nother level of leadership in their work. And that's the level that you can unlock through utilizing the power of your story. When you are able to stand in a powerful personal narrative, use that to provide a context for your work. Use that to help people understand the values that drive your work. There is a whole nother world of possibility available to you in terms of connection. And when you are able to connect with audiences and individuals and they really feel connected to you as a human, there's no telling what can come of it. And I think it's really important to recognize when you are a leader and when you're a change maker and when you're standing in front of folks, when you're able to make that values connection, people are less concerned about the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts and details because they trust you, they understand you, and they say, this is somebody who's bringing a value that I hold dear into the world. And when somebody sees that in you, when they feel like you are somebody who's delivering on a value that they hold dear, then they want to rock with you. Then they want to support your project. They want to be on your team. They want to donate or invest in what it is you're doing. That's what you can unlock by really harnessing the power of your story. And it takes work. And it takes time and it takes commitment. But if you're able to do that, there's a whole nother world available.
Yeah, and it's so exciting because we work with change makers that are at all different levels of their career. We work with, established change makers who've been running their nonprofit for years and are running a multi-million-dollar nonprofit. And their intention in telling their story is to take it to that next level, to make their nonprofit a household name. We work with those kinds of people. We also work with people who have never published, who have never spoken publicly, who aren't sure of their story, but understand that they have an important message to deliver to the world. And it has been so exciting to see what is possible when people decide to take that step up in their leadership and stand in their story. And it's like sometimes these stories are so ridiculous and so amazing, and people's lives and businesses and nonprofits transform so quickly that it's hard to believe that all of that was just one leadership step away. Like that them stepping up and out into their story is what enabled them to expand on a whole other level. And so we just want to share with you a few of the people we've been working with. I've been working with this amazing artist, and this artist has a really important social message for the world. And her art is so incredible and connects with people so deeply on an emotional level. And she had been having art shows and doing this important activism and thought leadership with her art for years. But she'd only ever really sold, a couple pieces here and there, maybe made $800 or $1,000 at an art show, but nothing, no critical mass in terms of sales. And we worked together. One of the things that was happening was that she wasn't taking the opportunity to really share her story at her art shows. She would have these art shows, 50, 60, 70 people would come, but she wouldn't gather everybody and share her story about why she creates her art. And so we set it up for her. She went through the program and she worked on her story about what her art means to her and what her art means to the world. And she shared her story at her first art show that she had as soon as she started working with us. And she sold 20 pieces and she brought in $7,000 that night. So it was incredible to see what was right there in front of her if she was willing to step into that. And who knows how many years that she has been foregoing that opportunity, art show after art show. So for her, it was about really taking that space and deciding to be more of a leader and have her voice in the room along with her art.
Yeah, and it's a really great example. Another example is a young woman we just wrapping up our work with from our Home Study Academy. She just finished a cohort of that. Young woman, she's 23 years old, and she had suffered from something called emetophobia. And it had a huge effect on her life. And over the last couple of years has been working through it and has really gained ground and really reclaimed herself and her identity, grown and learned. And she is so passionate and excited and committed to supporting people that suffer from emetophobia, because it's not really common, but there's very little support out there for people. And she's like, I've been through it. I feel like I'm finding my way to the other side. I want to help others. She's never spoken about it to anybody, really. She had never, certainly not in a public forum, she'd never written about it, she'd never done any of that, and she was an incredible student in our home study course. I'm really huge props to her. She was in our academy, she worked her butt off, she revisited her story time and again, she provided drafts for us to look at, she shot drafts of videos for us to give feedback to, and really found her story and her voice. She's getting bigger and bolder, and just this last week, she sent her story to some publications. She heard back. One of the publications in particular said, this is great, we want the longer version, send it to us. So this is a young woman who'd never done anything like that before, found her voice and her story through the process, and we supported her and worked with her around who she might submit that to, how she might go about submitting that publication, and now she's on her way. And that's just, and so we're really, really proud of her and really proud of the work that we got to do with her. And again, we're proud of the curriculum that we have and, the hard work that she put into that to make it happen for herself, because that's who she is. That's the leader she is. That's the kind of change makers we work with. People that are ready to go big, and they see this as a way to, again, unlock another level of leadership, and she totally did that.
Yeah, and it's just incredible to see that happen. And there's another sort of category of change maker that we work with that are people who are really in what we call secondary leaders. They've put themselves sort of in the back. They're like, oh, I'm just helping with the events, or I'm helping tell other people's stories. I'm helping get other people's voices out there, or I'm the fundraiser, or I'm the communications person that's not really supposed to be seen. A lot of our change makers fall into that category of people who have been traditionally secondary leaders and then are ready to take a step out and use their voice and their story as one of the stories within their network. And so one of the leaders that we've worked with is an activist who works on climate change on the global level. And what happened with him was that he was also taking a back seat and really being a support role to other voices getting out there in the world. And then he worked with us and went through our program, and he saw that his story really had value in the world, but also in his own confidence as a leader. When he stood up and took that space for himself, and wasn't just telling other people's stories, but was telling his story about why this work is so deeply important to him, his work became more meaningful to him because other people were able to see him and see what was driving him and understand him on a whole other level. So for all of those people out there that are assuming secondary leadership roles or thinking you're the helper or the fundraiser or just the events person, I really, really encourage you to take a minute and to think about how there is someone in the world that uniquely will hear your message in a unique and profound way, in a way that they might not to some other, extroverted leader who's out in front all the time and always has been. But that some of these voices that aren't making it out into the world are the ones that are going to unlock someone else's leadership, or someone else's power. So I just want to encourage you all to step up and step out and to use your voice and to really experience that power when you stand up and stand in your story in that way.
Yeah. And if you're watching this and you've stuck with us this long, it's really exciting. And it makes me know that you see your leadership and you see yourself as a change maker. And that's where it starts. And so first and foremost, thank you, and we need you, and we're so glad to have you as part of the Million Person Project community. And I asked you to, ask yourself, what is the role that your story can play? And is it time to tell it? Is it time to step into that leadership? Is it time to level up in that way? Again, I really just see it as a tool in the toolbox. When you are able to tap into the power of your story, your experiences, your shortcomings, the times you've stumbled, the times you've triumphed, when you can use that to give people insight into what really moves you, into why something like climate change is more than just an issue to you, but it's the thing that you're most passionate about, or criminal justice reform, or, we have folks that are working with new moms and supporting moms in their transition to being new mothers. Whatever it might be, when you're able to unlock that story around why you're so passionate about and the values that move you to that is a conduit for so much power, and it's a way to connect people in a big way. And so we want to share with you a new offering that we are launching this November. It's going to be mid-November that we launch this. It's the Million Person Project Story Academy. It is a 6-month intensive story academy that we are offering to people all over the world. It is a combination of videos and coaching from Heather and I, group coaching via the telephone primarily. And it's going to be awesome. Let me tell you a couple of the quick outcomes. The Story Academy is designed to do two things. One, to help you explore and affirm and create a really powerful personal narrative that will be used in service to your work, that you can use in service to your work, and that will really give people a sense of why you do what you do, what are the values behind it. Not only that, what is the role that you see them playing? What do you want them to do? So it's really a full narrative that helps people see why you do your work, but also has a very clear avenue through which to invite people into your work. So that's number one, a really incredible narrative. Number two is we will work with you over the course of those 6 months to identify, pursue, and get the stages that you want, the publications that you want, online and offline. If you're wanting to be on TV and interviews, we'll be working with you and supporting you and providing guidance and accountability, really, to ensure that you're really getting after the places that you want to get after. You'll be a part of a community. There will be a number of people in this program with you. We have a really awesome Facebook page that we moderate, that we are in constantly, that we're giving feedback for your drafts, and that you're going to be hearing from your fellow participants. What else do we have?
Yeah, so we also are bringing in guest speakers, people to come in to talk about what it's been like for them to step out in their story. And so we have some of our past clients coming to share. We have Julian's mentor, Van Jones, who's an incredible orator, and we've learned so much from him. And he's a CNN contributor, and he has a bunch of New York Times bestseller books. So he really understands how to take your story to millions, and he's going to come and speak to our Story Academy about how to build your story in a way that can reach that level. And so our intention, we're also going to support you in getting to talk to editors, video editors, and people who deal with other people's stories all day and choose which ones to feature. They're going to support you in figuring out how to frame your story in a way that catches the eyes of editors. And so it's going to be so exciting. And our applications for this program are open, and you can get the application below here. And we really, really encourage anybody who is interested, anybody who's made it this far in the video, to apply. It just takes a couple minutes, and then we will set up a phone call with you, and we will talk to you about what your goals are and if we feel like those goals can be achieved through this program, and if we're the right people to support you in doing that. And we hope we are. And there's already such an amazing group of people coming together in the Academy, and we are just so excited to get started working with you, and we believe that your story has immense power to both transform you and change the world. And we believe that we all have a responsibility to bring our uniqueness out through our story and to really inspire people through our story in that way. So thank you for being here today with us, and thank you for applying to the Story Academy, and we are so excited to have you join us on this 6-month journey.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. It's great to talk to you. Holler at us. Let's talk about the Academy. And if the Academy's not right, we've got other resources we can point you towards. But we really want to see the people that are in our community, that are part of the Million Person Project community, finding their voices and using it, because we know firsthand so much the power that lies there. So let us help you with that, and keep up the good work, and we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Peace.